match and back and forth. But the Usos ended up winning, and the New Day came out afterwards, confronted the Usos, and said, we're going to get a rematch at Battleground. It's going to be the Usos and the New Day at Battleground for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship. After that, Naomi came out, and then Lana made her entrance, and they were going to go one-on-one for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Naomi, now I thought this was going to be a back-and-forth match, but that's what I was saying. I thought this was going to be a back-and-forth match, but Naomi ended up beating her in like 2 minutes. So, Randy Orton came out after Aiden English started singing in the ring. Told Aiden English to leave. Aiden English wouldn't leave. RKO'd Aiden English. He sat in the ring and said that he wants Jinder Mahal and he wants the WWE Championship, and he's not leaving the ring until he gets the championship back and he gets his hands on Jinder Mahal. And he sits there for a little bit and he says, well, I guess I'll have to go to the back and kick some ass. He gets out of the ring. Shane McMahon comes down, says he can't do that because Shane McMahon doesn't want chaos in the locker room and for people to get injured. So he says, Orton, you get your rematch. But Jinder Mahal gets to pick the stipulation. I heard rumors that it was going to be a Punjabi prison match. And that is what Jinder Mahal said it was going to be. He came out and said that I want a Punjabi prison match against Randy Orton. And there's only been 2 in history so far. But he said that the Great Khali was a great influence for him. Which I'm actually shocked that they mentioned the Great Khali, because from what I hear, he didn't leave the company on very good circumstances, because he ended up cussing out one of the guys backstage. Anyways, side note, if you haven't seen Kurt Angle's press conference for the 2K18 video game, I would go watch it, because he actually mentions somebody that WWE tries to make you forget that they even existed, because and a person ended up killing themselves, but killing themselves. But I suggest going and watching that, because he does mention somebody that WWE has tried numerous times to erase them from history. Anyways, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn comes out and interrupts Maria and Mike Kanellis. They start talking about how happy they were that they got married, and it was love at first sight. And then Sami Zayn walks in between them while they're holding hands, and I kind of chuckled. I kind of laughed. It was kind of funny. Sami Zayn goes down to the ring. He's going to go one-on-one with Baron Corbin. Now, I record the shows, so I fast forward past this because I knew Baron Corbin was going to win this match, and he did. He actually won it clean. I didn't think that was going to happen, but he actually won this match clean. So yeah, we'll have to see if when Baron Corbin cashes in his Money in the Bank. I think that at SummerSlam it might be Jinder Mahal versus John Cena. John Cena will win his 17th world title, breaking Ric Flair's record, which I don't ever think it should ever be broken. Then Baron Corbin cashes in right then on John Cena, and end of days 1, 2, 3, and Baron Corbin becomes champion. That's my prediction of what's going to happen. I don't know if it will, but I'll have to wait and see. In between all of this, they have interviews with the people that are in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and they show them getting ready, putting their, they showed Charlotte putting on her boots. They just like showed like them getting prepared and interview and stuff. And then they all came out at the end. Match started. It was not as hard hitting as the match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was. There wasn't as big as high-risk spots, but there was a pretty cool spot that I liked, and it kind of made me laugh. Tamina and Charlotte grabbed the ladder, and Becky Lynch ran into the ring. They had the ladder. The ladder was facing upwards, and Becky Lynch came running in the ring, and she ran up the ladder as Tamina and Charlotte were holding it, and they just kind of looked up at Becky, and Becky was trying to grab the briefcase. And then they ended up tilting the ladder, and Becky Lynch hanged on to it, and then a super kick by Tamina sent Becky into Charlotte, and they tumbled outside the ring. Then Tamina was setting it up. Ladder. I'm going to skip around here. There was also another spot where Becky hit a Bexploder on Natalya. It looked like Natalya landed right on her neck, and I thought, because she laid there for half the match, and I thought she was hurt. But after the Bexploder, Tamina hit a spear on Becky, and it looked like it was supposed to be countered, but she didn't counter it. Like, she missed the counter, because they both like rolled around the ground afterwards, and it just looked like an awful. It just looked awful in the end. Becky Lynch ended up getting Bexploder to everybody at the end there, and Becky Lynch climbed the ladder. Carmella entered the ring. She pulled down Becky. Becky landed on her knee, hurt her knee, so she couldn't really climb the ladder. But she got Carmella out of the ring after she hurt her knee, and she was trying to climb the ladder with one leg. And then Carmella comes in with a steel chair and just drives the edge of the chair into Becky's knee, and she just falls. It's like almost like a leap of faith. She just falls back and drills that canvas and bounces. And then Carmella climbs the ladder and grabs the briefcase and is Mrs. Money in the Bank. But I almost forgot. After Becky did the Bexploder to everybody, she did climb James Ellsworth entered the ring after she Bexplodered everybody, and James Ellsworth was trying to climb the ladder, and Becky Lynch threw James Ellsworth off, and then Becky climbed it, and then that whole thing with her knee happened. So I don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to have another one, because James Ellsworth interfered again. He's banned from the arena, which I don't get how you get back in if there's security watching for you to make sure you don't get back in the arena after you're banned from the arena. I just didn't understand that whole thing. But Carmella wins. Now I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Tamina, Natalya, and Becky. I think Charlotte will challenge because Naomi defeated Lana. Charlotte's going to be the next one to challenge Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship, either now or for SummerSlam in August. But I really liked SmackDown, and I didn't really care for Raw. Like I said, Raw just doesn't give us a reason to care for half their superstars. And it's sad because half those superstars were on SmackDown. Then after WrestleMania, they put them on Raw, and they were right back before they went to SmackDown. They're just awful again. Like I said, I want Bray Wyatt back on SmackDown. He's just terrible on Monday Night Raw. He always loses all the time. On average, his matches last 5 minutes. That's his career average is a 5-minute match, and he loses. He's got like 50 more losses than he does wins. So Bray Wyatt is, and it just, I don't think Bray Wyatt's ever going to get out of the slump that he's in right now, the longer he's on Monday Night Raw. Okay, that was Raw and SmackDown review. Now I got some stories. I won't do as many as I was going to, but I want to... Oh, come on, this is not responding now. But I want to do a couple. No, it's fine. I want to do a couple, though, because I want to do this. I'll do this John Cena one, and I'll do the TNA one. Those two are really the only two I really halfway care about. If it'll load. If it doesn't load, I can do the video tomorrow, because this one's already 44 minutes long. And I've already gone on a rant. You know what? I'll slightly tell you guys about the Slammiversary one, because I already read it, because I was interested. And then I'll do different news or whatever tomorrow. Basically, TNA has a pay-per-view every year. It's called Slammiversary. And in their package for their opening video for one of their promos for it, they show a lot of WWE talent right now. And they show Samoa Joe, they show AJ Styles, they show Kurt Angle, they show the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Authors of Pain. They show Bobby Roode, who's the NXT Champion. So they show a lot of key talent for WWE. And Vince actually said, this is on the report I read, that he is actually thinking about pursuing a lawsuit against TNA for using their superstars in their video, unless TNA drops the trademark for Broken Matt Hardy. And the whole Broken Universe and all the name stuff that comes with Broken Matt Hardy. Now, that's basically what the sum of the report was. But what I think is TNA, they did that, I think, to slightly piss off WWE, which I don't think that's a wise idea, but I think they did that to show that they signed all these superstars before WWE did. And just to, I guess it's what they did it for. I know that they willingly did it because every single one of those superstars' names are said in the video. They talk about their careers in TNA and stuff. And I don't know about this whole I want to see Broken Matt Hardy in WWE because I don't really watch TNA, but I watched a lot of clips of Broken Matt, and I really like the whole Broken Universe, the whole Wonderful, the Delete, all of that. I really like all of the things that Broken Matt Hardy has done. I think they're cool and funny and interesting, but it just sucks that TNA is more worried about trademarking the Broken Hardy stuff than they are paying their superstars. Because Maria Maria and Mike Kanellis, who's on SmackDown right now, they were with TNA. They were both. Maria was a former Knockouts champion, which is their women's division. They call it the Knockouts. And Mike was a former TNA World Heavyweight champion. So they were both former big-time champions there. Maria Kanellis is actually the longest reigning TNA Knockouts champion in history, still to this day. And they have a lot of talent like that, and Bobby Roode and AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and all those talents were there. But they've now left because TNA was asking most of their talent to work for free. And one of the main persons or whatever working for TNA said that they were doing that to have their superstars work for free so that way they could focus on suing the Hardy Boys and use all of their money towards the Hardy Boys. But what I don't understand, if you're so keen on trademarking the broken universe and all of that, all of the stuff that comes with it, why didn't you just use all of that money that you're using that towards to re-sign the Hardy Boys instead of telling them to leave the company because there was other people interested in having them? There was actually a lot of companies. There were like 10 companies that wanted the Hardy Boys in their promotion. WWE was one of them, and that's where they ended up. They ended up going back. But when TNA found out all those other companies were interested, they told the Hardy Boys just to leave. And now they're putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into suing the Hardys. And it just makes no sense. And the company is almost bankrupt because they're spending all their money suing somebody they told to leave, but they're mad that they left. It just makes no sense to me. And they're asking their top guys, half their roster wrestles for free, like all year long. They never get paid ever. Bobby Lashley, their former world champion, he never gets paid anymore. They are asking all these guys to wrestle for free so that way they can spend all their money on someone that's not even in their company. It just, that sets a bad thing. You're going up to somebody that works for you and saying, hey, well, we ain't going to pay you because we're going to spend your paycheck suing somebody that we told to leave. That just sends a bad message to the locker room, I think. And that's the reason most of them have gone to SmackDown and Raw and NXT and WWE in general. It's because they feel like they're worth that amount of money. And, TNA's basically saying, we're going to basically become a suing business. And we're going to sue the Hardys. And I think Jeff Jarrett and TNA will go out of business. And Vince he'll buy Impact because they'll waste all of their resources and all their money into suing the Hardys, and they'll eventually become bankrupt. They won't have any more money left. So I think all in all, TNA will end up selling to WWE. WWE will have I think they'll keep TNA in business for a little while, because I think they can put TNA, and they'll use that as a developmental show. So they'll have NXT and Impact. I think that's eventually what will happen at the end of all of this, and that's gonna suck because that means there's only going to be one other company other than WWE. There's 3 right now. There'll be 2 if WWE buys TNA, which I think they end up might, or Ring of Honor. So either if they buy TNA, there's going to be WWE and Ring of Honor. And if they buy Ring of Honor, it's going to be WWE and TNA. And they've already tried to buy Ring of Honor numerous times, but the government has actually stepped in a couple times, saying that it's going to cause sort of a monopoly. So they're trying to work around all of that, and they're trying to buy Ring of Honor. And if they end up getting their hands on Ring of Honor, I think that they're going to bring in a bunch of revenue from that, because they're going to get a bunch of superstars from that from Ring of Honor that are going to be good in WWE. Because I see the Young Bucks, they're in Ring of Honor, and I see them as future Raw or SmackDown Tag Team Champions, or NXT. I see Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal is in Ring of Honor. He's definitely a future WWE champion. He's even stated once his contract's up in Ring of Honor, he might want to come. So, I don't know about this whole TNA situation, because I think they're just, and I'm going to go bankrupt because they're spending all their money suing somebody that just makes no sense. They spent all their money. They're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars of personal money, business money. They're even asking superstars to throw in their own money. They're not going to pay them to wrestle, but they want them to throw in their own money into the company. That way they can use that money to sue the Hardys. And it just makes no real sense. I don't get why. If you wanted to keep the Hardys so bad, why didn't you offer them a contract? Because they said, Matt Hardy said that he would love to stay in TNA. He would have loved to stay in TNA. He said he want to go on for the cheapest contract in TNA. That they, like, the cheapest. He said he wouldn't work in TNA for the cheapest contract ever in TNA. Because he thought that business had potential to get to the heights of WWE and really compete with them head to head. But it's to the point where it's just, they wanted to stay there, and they would go work for the shortest amount of money ever. But then once somebody else came in and said, "Oh, we're interested in the Hardy Boys," there was WCPW in England, there was Ring of Honor, there was New Japan Pro Wrestling, there was WWE, all House of Glory. That's one of the independent wrestling promotions. All these promotions were wanting to sign the Hardys, and then once TNA found out all these other companies were interested, TNA said, "Oh well, we're done negotiating with you," and they said, "You can leave and go to one of these companies." And they left and went back to WWE, and now they're just suing. Now they're just spending all of the money that they possibly can to sue them. It just makes no sense to me that you tell a person to leave, and then you spend millions and millions and millions of dollars suing them. It's like, why didn't you save yourself millions and millions of dollars and sign them for, I don't know, a couple thousand? It's just, I think TNA is just going to end up going bankrupt because they're going to spend all the money that they possibly can to sue the Hardys, and they're going to run out of money to produce their show. Because now the electricity went off in their last event because they actually did not have enough money to produce electricity and heat and air conditioning into their building anymore. They can't do that on a weekly basis anymore. So that's why it's gotten to the point where it's kind of out of hand, where they're basically making themselves go bankrupt over a ridiculous issue. I don't know why they just didn't re-sign him in the first place. I don't understand this whole thing with TNA and the Broken Hardys. But other than that rant, Monday Night Raw was terrible. SmackDown Live was pretty good. If you don't know what that impression was, it's Kevin Dunn. Watch JD from NY206's channel, which I actually mentioned him a couple times. Watch his channel, and you'll get to know who Kevin Dunn, who he is. Some of the stupid stuff he says, which some of the stuff he says about Kevin Dunn is actually true, because Justin Roberts actually got fired from WWE. In his book, he explains about Kevin Dunn, how Kevin Dunn didn't like how white Justin Roberts' teeth was, so he got fired, because Kevin Dunn convinced Vince to fire him because how white his teeth was. That was the legitimate reason why he got fired. So, if anybody is wondering, it wasn't anything else. It was just because how white his teeth was. That's just Kevin Dunn. And this guy I watch makes fun of him all the time, and it's funny. And it's just... Kevin Dunn is just idiotic. He just says the stupidest and the randomest stuff in the whole wide world. It's just he put Apollo Crews from SmackDown to Raw because he wanted to ask Apollo how he got his teeth so white. That's a legitimate reason that happened. There was one time on SmackDown that the camera like panned in like really close on Tom Phillips. He zoomed in really close. And the legitimate reason was because Kevin Dunn wanted to see if he had those white strips on his teeth. That's the legitimate reason that the camera just zoomed in like he was interviewing Natalya and Nikki Bella. I think I don't think it's been a full year now, but it's been a long time. But they like zoomed into his face, like real. It was like, oh my god. And then I heard about the legitimate reason. And Kevin Dunn is just this idiotic and just stupid guy. It's just fun to make fun of him because he says stuff that doesn't make sense. And he does stuff just... I wonder if he... It's just hard to think of what he can possibly think about when he's doing stuff. It's just hard to think about it. So yeah, go watch JD from NY206. It's just Kevin Dunn. I want to do more impressions of him because I'm going to be doing more videos. This was episode 1 of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sorry going for on a rant about Raw and TNA. See, SmackDown review went smooth when I did that because it's not a horrible show like Monday Night Raw. But we know who's in charge of that. Woohoo! Let's see Roman Reigns. Anywho, I hope you guys like that whole Kevin Dunn impression. Go watch JD, and subscribe to the channel. And I hope I see you all on episode 2. Just keep an eye on the channel because I really don't know when I'm going to upload this. Because I I was thinking I could do the pro wrestling podcast stuff. I could do it like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But then I thought, no. And then I thought, yeah, I'll do that. But I was like, no, if a story breaks during the week, like on a Wednesday or something, then I want to cover that. Then I might want to cover a few more things if I end up covering that breaking news. But thank you guys for joining me on the Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode number 1. Thank you for watching, and subscribe.